on the road.
Right.
gonna say, don't you
I got
plan
men
to-
waiting on me
Where y'all at?
Really?
up there in Ridgeland still.
Did you plan
I
this year?
worked yesterday
So
up there.
next year.
Worked out good. Didn't have to have a safety man around.
They was off
I know
yesterday.
I did that last year.
Yeah, I think you had to worry about
We
it.
love it.
All right. Good morning, everybody.
Oh, we have it right.
July 6th, Board of Supervisors meeting called to order at this time and ask Mr. Slay to do invocation, please.
Let's pray. Thank you for the privilege that we have to serve our community. Thank you, Lord, for bringing us together today and giving us this opportunity to fellowship together, to consider the business of the county together, Father, to work together hand in hand so that we might move this county forward. Thank you for blessing us so, giving us what we need, providing for us abundantly. Thank you for our folks, the folks that work for us, that work with us, Lord. We're just so privileged. Lord, I pray that you'll give these guys what they need today to see out far enough, give them the light that they need to see into the future enough, Lord, so that we make decisions that are in keeping with your will and serve the interests of our citizens. We pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
So you want Carl to speak now? Carl, you want to try it now? Or you want to wait till you got some big act to follow?
I'll go first, if
You're
that's
gonna,
okay.
you're gonna be the act. Come on.
Oh, Lord. A couple of things. We're ready to
Good morning.
advertise renovation of the Chancery project, if y'all are. So I'd like to get permission to do that.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
What'd you decide on those columns? How are we doing that?
We're gonna do the
on that?
Huh?
We're gonna do an alternate for that.
Okay.
We're gonna,
I checked on the availability of material. I have no problem getting it.
okay. Well, that's why we were gonna get an alternate price to
Yeah,
see, and if it's
I sure did.
ridiculous, we'll
I
just.
checked Friday
Okay.
or Thursday. I think it was Thursday, and she said I got plenty. Just the amount that you be needing.
Yeah,
easy.
yeah, it's not, maybe it's 9 to
Five.
10, somebody's
Yeah,
not.
10, but that's only like 5 sticks.
Yeah,
Because it's
yeah.
10 foot. Yeah, yeah. She even
So,
sent me a price on it.
Yeah, that's what we were gonna do. We're gonna do, we got it listed to do an alternate.
Okay.
So,
I just didn't want somebody to throw you a big curve
no,
for that
and,
make a big
and,
deal out of
you
it.
know,
'Cause it's
yeah,
available. Okay,
we're running into that on a lot of different things, so,
okay,
that's the way we decided to handle that, if that's okay.
okay.
But we would like to go ahead and advertise it and see get it on the market and see where we're at on that, on prices, and then, if that's a satisfactory with the board, we'd like to go ahead and move forward with that.
We would need a motion to add that to the agenda.
I make a motion that we add the building or whatever, the Chantry,
Renovation.
renovation of the Chantry building. And we move
To
forward. on that.
advertise, okay.
Yep, yep.
Motion by Mr. Gaines to add this to the agenda, and second by, Jay. Any discussion? Not all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion approved by Mr. Gaines, second by Mr. Bishop. All in favor, say aye. All opposed.
That's covered.
Okay.
The only other thing is we're moving, as y'all are aware, to close out the courthouse project. We've got a walkthrough Thursday, I guess it is, for warranty, 1-year warranty, and I've already gotten a list from Keith of some items that need to be addressed. We're doing all the paperwork. We have received the final pay application from Albritton in change order number 9, which he had to sign. That does include, the final pay application does include what was discussed as far as liquidated damages. That's included in there. So it's reduced the final pay application substantially. I've got to do the final change order 12 for that, and Sam sent me something this morning about including some language in that. So we're working on getting all that done and can present that, I guess.
Actually, the board's already authorized Jared to execute as board president on behalf of the board all of the closeout documentation is required. Their approval obviously was contingent upon the documents being satisfactory to Carl, the documents being satisfactory to our litigation counsel. And so assuming that happens, then Jared just be in a position to sign everything.
We also discussed that the walkthrough on Thursday is an important piece of this, and so the approval of the final documentation, the delivery of the final pay would be contingent upon a successful, complete warranty walkthrough on Thursday. We don't anticipate any issues, but we want to make sure that that happens as well. So I think everything is positioned like it needs to be with you guys, and there won't be any need to take further action, assuming it all goes the way it should.
Well, I should have, other than the warranty walkthrough, I'll try to get that typed up, but the rest of it we should have by this week sometime, and I'll get you and Sam to review it. I think, according to Sam's email, he's gonna be out after today, so I'm trying to get all that done as much as I can today for his review.
We will need to know final payment amount, so assuming we can get that number, that would be helpful.
I can give you that number right now.
All right.
As far as it's $957,555.07, which I've checked. The amount of money currently remaining in the contract is 1.3 million, so that's a reduction of almost 300 and something $1,000, maybe more, 400,000. Trying to do the math real quick. So that's where we're at, and I'll triple check that, but I'll check that.
Has the water issue been resolved? Did
Yeah.
that, fixing that,
That water.
coming
yeah.
into the,
This is gonna be part of the warranty that they're gonna have to, yes. As far as leaking, yes,
Yes.
it has been.
so we hadn't had any issues since?
Not as far as I know of.
What
on
did
that
we
one.
decide it finally was? I know we went back and forth 2 or 3 things.
Coming in through a
It's coming in the conduit,
conduit?
2-4 inch
Right,
conduit.
that's right.
And, they weren't originally properly sealed. They were sealed, but not with the right material. So, material decayed when the water got through there now. And all that came about though when some other boxes were added to it, but if the units had been properly sealed, in our opinion, it wouldn't have leaked. And since after that, as a backup insurance, the county's put in a little drain underneath the box. So what was happening is water was backing up and getting into the conduit.
Right.
So as far as we know, that part hadn't. Now, we did experience a leak Friday and something else. It was not, that we're trying to get to the bottom of in the, what was that, in the bathroom? First floor? We thought it was coming through a louver, but I don't think it is now after looking at the drawings, but we've got to get that, we got to determine what actually that cause was. We know that we had horizontal rain coming from the west, and it was on the back side on the first floor of the jury room, so we just got to get to the bottom of that, but I don't anticipate that being an issue. But the conduit has been resolved, to my
Good.
knowledge.
Good
at
deal.
this point.
Okay. Anything else?
No, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, old business.
Motion to approve.
Motion approved. Motion
Second.
approved by Steve, second by Brad. Any discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, consent agenda. Any questions on it?
Motion to
That
approve.
motion approved by Steve,
I'll second.
second by Brad. Any discussion? You got something, Keith? Looked like you were raising up to speak. Okay. All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Miss Caroline Gilbert. Good morning.
All right, what I've got today is request approval for reimbursement from the county to taxpayer Mr. Samuel Taylor. He was in bankruptcy and making payments at the same time his bankruptcy attorney was, and so some of that money was paid to Judy's account. We're just requesting a refund from Judy's account, and we're gonna pay it back to him.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion approved by Steve, second by Jay. Any discussion? Not all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Sullivan, glad to see you today.
Man, always a pleasure, always a pleasure. Item A, petition change the assessment 2020 real property and the 2019 and 20 personal property assessments.
Motion approved.
Motion approved by Brad,
Second.
second by Jay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Item B, request approval for the 2021 real and personal property assessment rolls and accept written objections for Monday, August the 2nd, and set public hearings for Monday, August 16th, and authority to publish in the paper.
Motion approved.
Motion approved by Brad. Second by Jay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike Harrison.
Road work accomplished for June and road work scheduled for July.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion approved by Brad, second by Jay. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Y'all wanna know what we
Sure,
did last?
yeah. Give us a rundown, all that hard work you've been doing.
6 livestock barrels, 57 culverts, 61 ditch work orders, 346 grass cutting work orders, 73 spraying tickets, 44 limb pickups, 24 driveway aprons, 256 limb pickups, 8 school buses, turnarounds, 247 road repairs, and 24 road construction.
Is it Lingham pickup in Jay's district?
Yes, sir, it's all in District 5.
Ever been at
We're
all
talking
260 of them?
about road construction.
Sorry.
What was the last one you said?
Road construction, we do our own work order on those, Jared, when we go out and repair a road and
Oh,
get
yeah,
getting it
okay.
prepped and ready,
Yeah.
so we can keep up with the
I got
cost
you.
of it.
I got you.
And I have a breakdown cost on all that, if y'all need that too.
All right. Hey, B?
I'd like to take B and B, the AT&T utility permit. Daniel spoke on the one the other day, that he was okay with it in Marblehead. And the other one, Jared, is in
Yeah,
Gunner
I'm reading
Road
it.
on the new construction part where they're gonna be relocating AT&T cable on that job.
Aren't they doing that to the poles?
I think they're going underground, is what
Well,
they
yeah,
had told
first
me.
weren't they talking about going over ground, above ground
They
on the
was
pole?
talking about it, but I think they're going direct burial now.
I guess because they probably don't have the poles to go on yet.
Yes, sir.
That'd make a real reason. Okay.
Motion approved.
Motion approved by Jay,
Second.
second by Steve. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
C will be request authority for engineering service to inspect and assess the storm drain along Hugh Ward Boulevard. We got several erosion problems. We believe it's coming from the storm drain, not 100% sure. There's a sewer line that's paralleling it. Lowood says it's not theirs, but I'm getting some big sinkholes.
What do we need engineering services for?
Because they're gonna go in and get a camera and go in and inspect this
okay.
pipe.
Gotcha, all right.
This is what we had talked about?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I make a motion to approve.
I'm scared to know the results.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I want to kind of go in and see what we've got first before we just go to digging up, because it's under that fence along Hugh
Are you
Ward.
expecting to have a penetration through it or something, or?
We don't know. I doubt through concrete pipe, but it's hard to say, Jay. I think what we've got is probably some joints separating.
But if there's a sewer leak, how is this going to?
We should be able to
Identify that.
camera and see if we've got separated joints that's causing this in the pipe.
Trying to rule out the storm drain.
We're trying to rule out our
Yeah,
part.
but if there is a slight crack in the pipe, doesn't necessarily mean that there's not a sewer leak still.
Well, I agree with you 100%.
You ought to be able, you can run
Can't
down
you
there
do
and get
that?
you a sample, see
Can't
what
you
it
do
smell like.
that, what do you call that stuff?
Taste.
Go down and,
Yeah,
According to Flowwood, they've done all that.
you're unsure.
okay,
They say it's not theirs.
all right,
It's pretty well between us and them, so I don't know yet.
okay, all right,
I've been dealing with this for a while and
okay.
kinda need to do this. So,
All right, I had a motion, I don't think we had a second. A motion by Steve, second by Jay.
Seconded.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Before you, I thought we had put it on this part, the closure of that section of this gravel part on Stump Ridge that we're trying to get some work done on. Is that,
Close.
yeah, close it, nobody lives there where and it's gotten to be a mess, really. trying to add some
We got
places
a
30 inches of
section,
dirt.
we got a
And
section of
rains.
developers trying to
When nobody's
improve
looking on
the
it,
shoulders of the
Nobody
road,
looks
and
on it.
we are trying to
They're
improve the
figuring
You
road.
gotta build it up.
Live
Oh,
here.
in between.
Yeah, but they can get to it.
But there's
on
no
this
houses
end.
in this section.
Yeah, from Holly Bush, they can come up, and from Lawrence, they can go down, but the section we're closing is not gonna affect anybody's
We got you.
commuting home or whatever.
So you gonna.
So I
put,
reckon what we need is
What we doing,
Just kinda set
building
up.
the road there?
everything?
Yeah, what are-
Oh, yeah, barricade.
Oh, the developer's building the road?
Yeah, let me jump in. Under our development ordinance, we have language that allows the county to require a developer to make substantial improvements to an existing public road
Yeah,
as a condition to approving the development activity.
Right.
Okay, so the county and the developer have reached an understanding about improving that road as a contingency to approving his development. The reason we do that, obviously, is because the development activity is what is creating the issue for the road. The road needs to be improved to substantiate or to support the development activity. You got large vehicles, concrete trucks, dump trucks. So you got a lot of increased use of the county's existing public road. So thankfully, our development ordinance gives us that ability. Where there can be issues is in a temporary situation where we have to actually close the road so that the road can be improved pursuant to our agreement with the developer. So that takes some extra communication, and so I think what we need to do is to be able just to close a section for a short period of time, put up our signage so that the motoring public is made aware of what's going on, let the developer do their thing, and then we can get back in there and dress it up to suit our needs and remove signs, get the road back open. So it's a temporary closure. There's a statute that lets us do all that temporarily,
Yeah.
but the statute actually says we've got to let the motoring public know that the road's closed. So y'all need to authorize that section to be closed at Mike's discretion, put some signs up to warn the public, and then we can move on.
Where's he getting his material and all?
Off his own land.
That's what I'm saying. What about gravel and all that?
We hadn't put any gravel
No,
yet.
no, I'm saying when he builds it to a point.
That's-
Where,
I guess him and Mike will work that out.
What is the agreement with the developer? What did y'all come up with?
Well, I mean, he's gonna get the banks and this was a section that we hadn't really talked about trying to pave or do anything yet, Jay. I think this is down the road,
It might be 2
future,
3 years.
that he's gonna build.
Go
Right
ahead,
here,
go ahead.
Jerry.
No, I'm listening, go ahead, no,
But
Jay.
what we're doing is it's got some high banks on it. All they did on Stump Bridge Road, when they cut that road in, they just cut it through there,
Banks are high as that.
18 foot wide, and they just left high banks on it. So before he puts his utilities and stuff in, he's bringing the banks down. Most of that dirt's coming off the shoulder of the road, so he can make the front of the property
Right.
workable, and before he puts his utilities in. That's what we're trying to work on
Well, what- I
right
guess
now.
what the deal, I don't know, they're talking, so I don't know whether you're answering what Jay's asked.
I was at Steve, it'd be nice to know, we got so much development out there. I don't know the area well, it's the only place we got a bunch of gravel roads, and all this is being developed on gravel roads.
Right.
We probably need to come up with a plan to, so we know,
Yes.
rather than waiting, all these 200 houses are built, and all of them say, we want it asphalted.
What we have done, it's an existing public road. That's what makes this development activity pretty unique, Jay.
Existing
is
public
we're
gravel
actu-
road.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
actually a situation where it's an existing public road.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 98% of the time, it's creating new roads where none exist within a development, right? And so it's all on the developer to get those in place, get them up to our specs, get the base course in, do the development activity, put the surface course. That's our standard operating procedure, but those are when they're brand-new roads coming online. This, being an existing public road, is treated just a little bit differently, but I think effectively to protect taxpayers. I don't know about this specific instance, but this developer has agreed to situations where we've required the installation of a 3-inch base to be put down on an existing gravel road
What
at his
period of time?
cost.
What length?
That
What-
already happened. Oh, that covered his first phase, his first and second phase.
Yeah. I know those
28,
roads
20,
are super
just like,
long.
They put
just
up-
like a developer would be, Jay, once it
Install
gets
and
above
stuff.
80%.
Yeah. They put up a letter of credit, Jay.
You got both going on here.
Yeah, we have a letter of credit for the cost of the 3-inch base. That is security, and then he has the option, when we say it's time to put the base course down, that's on us to tell him when that happens. He goes and installs it. If he installs it and we're satisfied with it, we release a letter of credit.
You talking the base, like gravel base?
No, sir.
No.
You talking about-
3 inches of asphalt.
Right, okay.
Am I right, Tim? I'm on target. So I can think of two
When
examples
it's-
where we've done that. Neil Singh was one, and I'm pretty sure Mr. Brooks with Freedom Farms was the other. So it's a very workable way to do it when you're talking about, and I want to be clear about this, an existing public road.
Well, all those are, they're pretty good sized roads.
Yes, sir.
You know, and I know we got a lot of development going on in that area.
Yes, sir.
I was just wanting to know,
Yes, sir.
get an idea of where we are, and where
Well,
we going.
They're really, they seem longer than they are, but like Stoll Road is about 1.25 miles.
Somewhere.
Maybe 1.5 miles.
Something like that.
And we've got, in the bond, we approved that one, 250,000, something like that.
So we got that
This
covered.
is sitting over here.
That one's
Yeah,
covered.
yeah. Stonebridge, because of the developers and using one end as just chip seal, I would say 10 years ago, there was 7, 8 miles of gravel. Today, maybe 3 or 4 miles of gravel.
Something like that. Probably in the high fours.
So,
Oh,
with the chip seal method and the developers doing their part, and Mike, it's coming along at a very economical way. The taxpayers are who is benefiting the most, I would say.
That's right. I thought, Steve, we're trying to hit the right middle ground here, as it were. It would be difficult for us to require a developer to be totally responsible
Right.
For the whole
for an
road.
existing
Yeah.
public road, right? Totally responsible for it, where you've got a good bit of unrelated traffic that is using that road. And so there has to be this symbiotic relationship between the fact that it's our road to begin with and the developer. So I think it's the right balance. We require a lot out of the developer to be able to develop in that area, but we still acknowledge that we have responsibilities as well. So making him put the base course down while we will handle the surface course at a later date when it's appropriate, that seems reasonable. That puts us in charge of what it looks like at the end game. But it requires him to commit a substantial investment in exchange for the ability to develop in that area. So,
So they fixed the part that's been, chip sealed or whatever? Previously, the developer?
we require
Do
them
we
to
have
be
to build it up
responsible for
too?
where they're developing, Jerry.
I mean, we have to build it up, I don't know.
It
Was
didn't
that
have
part
to-
of his?
It didn't have to, that part didn't have to be
Isn't this
built
the
up.
part where, in this area where you still, was it logged it out a lot?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, sir.
It used to be
This is-
basically a log and access.
You got it.
Right.
It's all potash property.
Been hearing about it
That's
for years.
why the banks kept growing
Yeah,
every
right.
year. They'd log it.
Yep.
They'd just keep cutting the road down.
Right.
So, Mr. President, I'm sorry it didn't make it on the agenda. I thought it was, so I need to add this to the agenda, the approval of Stump Bridge Road to be closed for a period of time.
I'm gonna make that motion.
Hey, will they close that, will they be, to keep you out of hot water
Am I
being
right,
closed, will it be, is he gonna get in there and do his work without being closed a long period of time? To keep
Well,
you from being singled out?
What has been happening is when they're working in there, they'll put some just
Barricade?
barricades up, and then at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, they try to get out of there and pull them back up. What has happened though, by adding that much dirt
Right,
and these rains,
you got compacted.
soft, and some cars have gotten stuck.
And we've
So-
had, I think, some mud riders down there
Yeah,
too, didn't we?
yeah. Well, that's all.
But I mean, just like the other evening, I mean, we got the road slicked off, come a flash flood, pour down. We just need to be able to keep it closed during those periods if it rains on us, you know, for overnight or. couple-
He's got road graders and all that kind of stuff to grade and do the road when he's putting it in?
He's got
He
stuff
does?
to
Huh.
do it with, yeah.
Dang, he's got
He's
some-
got a big, I mean, he has started from living, well, the guy has grown over the last 5 years and he's done it right. I mean, there's never been I don't know of any secrets or, you know, he'll show you anything you want to look at. And, I think he works with the engineers, works with Mike's crew and works with everybody. I
mean,
it's
he's
a
got all
great
that
thing
kind
for
of
our
equipment.
district, huh?
He got all that kind of equipment to grade it and all that.
Well, I know he's got big track hoes and bulldozers, and I guess he probably has some.
I'm gonna second it.
You talking about it get slicked off, I figured he must have a
Can I
grader or
second it?
something.
Yes. So I need to add this and
Yeah,
then do
all right,
it.
motion Steve
But
add to
now,
the agenda.
if, y'all-
Second.
if the board wants to tell him we'll do it all, I'm for that too.
No, he's gonna
If
do
we
it.
can
I'm
get it
curious
done
to hear.
quicker.
First, I really have heard any details about it.
To add.
But you're talking about, I didn't know how much
Steve.
we were doing on it, and I'm glad Jay brought it up. Anyway, a motion to add to the agenda by Steve, second by Brad. Any discussion, more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion approved by Steve,
Second.
second by Brad to close this road closure. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
We've actually got a resolution that lays out what you just did. Weren't sure if we were gonna get to this today or not, that's why it's
Okay.
not on the agenda.
All right.
But we've got a resolution for the board president to sign, that way it can be provided to you guys if anybody in the public has any questions about the closure.
All right, anything else?
I think that's it.
All
for
right,
me, Judge.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Parker.
Thank you, Mr. President. The first item we have on the agenda is Harold Acres. We're recommending approval of the final plat. That's a District 4 development. It's on Harold Road. It's a Scott May development. There's no roads or anything involved in that one. It's all along Harold Road.
Can we just hold up on approval on that until we get, we got another development that needs to get finished up before we approve this one.
Brad, is that a Scott May development that we're
It
talking
is.
about? Okay.
Well, what's going on with that?
There's
Yeah.
a bunch of residents out there that's complaining that the ditches are not draining.
Thinking this is Ironwood.
Ironwood Estates would be the other one.
Did
So-
he do that one?
Yes.
He did?
Yeah, I think
What
he
is that on
actually,
468?
Yeah.
Yeah, that big
I
one.
think he built most of the
Yeah.
houses in there, if I remember correctly.
Left from me.
I mean, nice homes
I
and
thought he just bought the houses.
Lot
I thought he just bought the lots.
No, sir, he actually did that development.
Okay.
he didn't build every single house in there, but majority of them. But the problem is some of the ditching out there is holding water, and the county's not gonna
All right.
approve it until the ditch is dry.
So what I would suggest we do with item A under Tim is to approve that final plat contingent upon the completion of the Ironwood Estates matter, satisfactory completion to the consulting engineer, satisfactory completion to the road manager.
Are they connected as far as the two projects some way?
They're both by the
Same.
same
Both the same
developer.
developer? What I'm saying is you can't, we're not gonna approve it till he finishes. I'm just questioning, why do we hold this one up if he's not, we're not gonna accept it till he improves the ditching?
Try to get some movement on getting those ditches fixed.
Hadn't done anything to
The
it?
county's getting a lot of calls right now.
Oh, hadn't done anything on?
They've actually gone out there and attempted some work. They're still not draining. I got an email from the engineer that actually this morning asking me to put in writing what they need to do. It's fairly simple. We need ditches to drain, but I'll be glad to put that in writing for them today. But we just, that one needs to get off center. and
So
it hasn't.
his engineers don't understand. Simple, it's gotta drain.
Right now.
Seems simple to me, Mr. Morrison, but
I'd like to know who that engineer is.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it appears that the drain issue has to do with the size of driveway culverts that have been installed. And I
And the
think
grade, a lot of the ditches are really flat.
Some of the
And,
culverts are turned backwards.
Well, you got concrete drives.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
There we
Now
go.
it's, is it becoming clear?
Yeah.
That there's some slowness to
All right,
act?
okay, all right. So, what is your, how you gonna word that? Just table it or?
It's, no, sir. Y'all can approve it contingent upon the consulting engineer and the road manager being satisfied with the condition of the ditches in Ironwood Estates.
Do it that
We'll
way?
we will approve the recordation of the final plat in Harold Acres. I'm assuming Tim will just hold the final plat and won't have it executed and recorded until such time as Ironwood Estates is rectified.
Motion.
All right, motion by Steve, second by,
Second, I'll
maybe by
second.
Brad. Okay, all in favor, any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Thank you, Mr. President. Item B is Antioch Farms. We're recommending approval of the final plat. That's a District 3 development on Highway 43.
Motion approved.
Motion approved by Brad,
Second.
second by, who was that?
Gaines.
Jay, Steve. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
And I'll be happy to entertain any questions about the College World Series if anybody. Thank you, Mr. President.
Tim,
Yes, sir.
in response to a question that Jay had, can we, I don't know how we can do it, but can we just sit down sometime and look at a map? Because these people that own the land that he's talking about, out there in that area, we don't know when they're gonna act on it or for their developments.
So are we back on Stone Ridge?
Yeah,
Okay.
Stump Ridge in there, it's a valid issue that let's look at planning, but dang, it's so spotty out there that.
It has been, but I think, and Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, with the bond money on Stoll, and then.
Well, we know.
Right,
we hope we
so
know
on Stoll, then we've got Freedom Farms, which takes it all the way to Stump Ridge, and that's one of the ones that the developer has put up money for asphalt. And then on Stump Ridge, I think there's plans, I think it's the one in the works that hadn't really been brought before the board yet, Liberty Landing, I think's the name of it. On Stump Ridge, I think it goes all the way back to where the asphalt stops. So as we work to the north and east, I guess, as the developments go, we're carrying the act of paving with it.
Okay.
But you're right, we do need to look at a master overall view of everything.
Somebody come at the very end.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
They've got to wait.
We're gonna,
And that's very likely, Jay. As soon as it keeps moving out, somebody's gonna jump ahead.
Yeah.
I think right now, the developer there's mostly one developer doing it, lets alone Pine.
one or
Mount
two.
Hill.
So how many developments do we have out there now? It's a
Uh,
bunch.
There were several phases of Freedom Ridge, there's Freedom Farms.
it's on the other end too.
The next one would be, that's coming up, in the very near future would be Liberty Landing, I think's the name of it. Lone Pine Plantation is on Mount Helm.
But down at Stump Ridge and Holly Bush, that,
That's right. I'm drawing a blank on the name of that one, but right there at that corner, there was Holly Ridge.
and you go down just a little further and you got Crossview.
Right, on
Crossview
Holly Bush.
Farms and,
Yeah, so there's a ton of houses
Yeah.
being built.
Yes, sir.
but they're all large lots and,
And I'm sure
good
none
development
of them want to drive on gravel.
or mud.
Or that either, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
All right, Mr. Slade.
Let's see here. Give me just a second, look at the
I
rest of
think we can group all of your.
Yeah, the first three, A, B, and C, are setting public hearings for July the 15th at 9 a.m. If I could get those as one item, A, B, and C.
I'll make a motion for A, B, and C.
Okay, motion to
Yeah.
approve A, B, and C, set public hearings by Brad, second by Steve. Any discussion? All in favor? Oh, I have discussion. Is one of these the one that we were talking about in here the other day? That you,
This is from Freedom Farms.
no, the one that the couple came up in here with, kinda out of the blue. There was one that put the mobile home in there.
No.
Oh, so those are not going to be related
No,
to
That's
that?
not on this one. It'll come up later.
I guess.
Yeah.
Or either we've already
Is
done it.
D
No.
the one he's
We
talking
had-
about?
It was a 12-acre piece.
That was.
The one that where you
that
had
was in
two mobile
chapter.
homes and you weren't putting any more and then
Oh,
you
yeah,
put
yeah,
the
yeah.
third one?
Yeah, no, we have,
That
right,
comes back
we said-
up.
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
it comes back. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
All right,
Okay.
all right.
Okay.
Had a motion and a second. Approve these. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed.
Item D is to set a public hearing for August 2 at 9 a.m. That's for a county-initiated rezoning request, Old Pearson and Peggy.
So move.
Second.
All right, motion by Mr. Bishop, second by Ms. Gaines. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. All right, public hearing. Mount Hill.
Item E is a public hearing on the John Heyman conditional use permit. That's at 574 Mount Helm. I don't know if Mr. Heyman or anyone here on behalf of Mr. Heyman. Mr. Heyman is seeking a conditional use permit to construct what's called a barn dominium with a metal exterior at 574 Mount Helm Road. The 12-acre parcel. Property is zoned RE1. Mr. Heyman is proposing a two-story home, 5,000 square feet of living area, and a 2,000 square foot shop in the rear. RE1 does not allow the metal exterior. This time we'll open that public hearing. I'll ask if there is anyone here to speak in opposition to the John Heyman conditional use permit request. Mr. President, I don't see anyone here to speak on that matter. At this time, I'll close that public hearing. It'd be appropriate to take action and set appropriate conditions.
Motion to approve.
Motion approved by Mr. Gaines.
Second.
Second by Brad. Any discussion?
Whatever. I guess Renee need, what do we need for conditions? I mean, other than what we've already saw, and it's, the picture of it is a heck of a nice house.
We haven't talked about it yet,
Yeah.
where it's located, on
On the 12 acres.
The only thing I can think of, Steve,
Setback.
is that we won't allow any rental of any space within the unit. It's gotta be
Oh, yeah.
personal, single-family dwelling,
Yeah,
personal use only.
Have you heard anything?
No, sir.
Oh, okay.
No, sir.
No.
I'm just
No.
trying to be proactive.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we typically make it clear, although I don't know that we set conditions, we make it clear this is residential.
Yeah.
And so no home-based commercial operation out of that facility may be enough, just as a matter of safety.
I would like for him to have a pretty nice setback, but I don't want to put a hard number in there. Will you just make a note to talk to him about that? That right now that's a gravel road, so he's gonna have some dust to chew on if he gets up there close.
there's a gas line that runs
Yep.
up there too, so he's
He needs,
gonna be limited
yep,
property.
yep. Okay.
All right, very good. That matter.
Hey, I got one other thing.
Yeah, yes, sir.
This is a 12-acre parcel. And just discuss with him about where it's at. I don't know that he has an idea of selling off 5, 6 acres, 4 acres, whatever. Sometimes when people buy that much and they're out there a little while, they go, I can't keep all this, I'm gonna sell it. If his house is setting to where he's gonna end up wanting to split off a 2 acre, I don't like that.
No, we met with this fellow and you told him nothing under 3 acres.
Okay. All right.
Might just make that an extra condition that we put on the conditional use. Yep. All right. So that matters, we'll close that public hearing if I haven't already. That matters, it's handled. I think they voted. Did everybody vote on that one?
I don't think so. Not yet.
Better call
No,
for
I
a vote on
don't
that
think
one,
so.
Jared.
I don't think, well, no, I said discussion, no. That went under discussion.
Okay.
So all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed.
Item F is acknowledgment of receipt of a request to establish a private cemetery under 4143-1, subparagraph 2. That's been submitted by Mr. David Bridges. We're acknowledging receipt of the completed request form, all of the survey documentation, and payment of the recording fee. And so
Where's this? What district?
Mount Elm Road.
Okay, 'cause
I'm
I
not
know
sure.
David Bridges, reason I asked.
Wait.
I'm pretty confident this is in Jared's district.
Okay.
It's down in
Okay.
Florence area, Jared. I don't know.
Oh, never mind,
The
okay.
reason I wondered, 'cause
It's
I
not-
knew
it's not Mount
there's two
Airy.
David Bridges.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
So you would be granting authority to approval of the establishment of the private cemetery within the boundaries reflected, and you're authorizing the Chancery Clerk to transmit all required information to the tax assessor so that the location of the cemetery is set forth on our mapping data.
When we do this, do we have, and we approve, I mean, do we get to, we know where it is? That it's not going
Yes, sir.
peed right over on somebody else's property and all that?
Yes, sir. So we require them to actually have the area that is being dedicated as the private cemetery surveyed out. It has actual legal boundaries. That way the mapping can show the little, whatever shape it is, they can show it on the mapping data. It'll actually show up as a private family
I just
cemetery.
didn't want it to be right up against somebody else's property line, you know, whatever they may want to do.
Right. We're very limited in how we can regulate that.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me this the other day.
Typically, the state law requires them to be so many feet away from certain
Okay.
uses, Jared,
That's
like
fine.
creeks and streams.
I hadn't heard about it, I don't think, and I just wondered where it was, because I know a couple of David Bridgeses, I just didn't know which one it may be.
Craig, does other counties do this the same way, or could they possibly do it a little different?
They could probably do it different. I created this from the statute
Yeah.
so that we
Third
would
one
have
I've
a
had.
way to track it.
I'm gonna
Like
start
if you had
selling
somebody in
plaques.
Lee County, could they just go bury somebody on their
More for
property?
that 6 pack.
The state law does not authorize them just to do it of their own volition. The 4143-1
Yeah.
requires the Board of Supervisors to authorize it.
Oh, so they'd have to go ask the board to allow them to do it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Now, whether they have a form like I put together, whether they require a registered survey,
Right.
I don't know.
Gotcha.
But
All right.
I'm trying to be as thorough as
Yeah.
possible to follow the law.
Yeah.
I imagine some cases we
Thank
don't
you.
even know about it.
We appreciate
That's,
that.
that's what I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So they would be unauthorized, they're not documented anywhere. And of course, it does run the risk that over time, people will forget
Right.
that there's a cemetery there, right? And help themselves to the use of the property and maybe get a surprise.
Yeah, my cousin had one of those. Shut the
Yeah.
whole project down.
So, it's best, I think, to document
Clearing
it for
out this hill
posterity.
and all kind of stuff.
All right, I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, motion approved by Jay, second by Brad. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Item G is the result of really good cooperation between your fire coordinator, your EOC director, and your GIS mapping specialists, all of whom had a role to play in putting together the official legal descriptions for our grading districts, our volunteer fire department grading districts across the county. We have some 15 of those. Lance put together a document, a map with all of the GIS data that has now been provided to the state fire marshal, actually to the rating bureau, the Mississippi Rating Bureau. The purpose of that is so that the Rating Bureau has an official document that it can put into its system that allows that entity to recognize the grading districts that are in place. This gives them the ability then to go and look to see, as far as fire insurance rating classifications, where the 5 mile boundary is in and around each of these response areas, so that there's an official classification, and that way the insurers have they have the data that they need to be able to appropriately reflect the insurance rating. So what we found was, and I may be getting ahead of
Yeah,
right here.
I mean, we might need to discuss, it's 5 road miles. It's not the 5 radius. It's-
5 road miles.
Yeah.
And a lot of folks are not getting that benefit. So they will now.
I think that's what we discovered. There was a gap between what we were communicating from this board and others to the public. Yeah, there was a gap between what the Rating Bureau recognized and what we understood that they recognized. And so the insurers were in kind of a little bit of a no man's land. This closes the gap. and it allows the Rating Bureau now to officially recognize the 5 road mile area in and around our various volunteer fire department locations. And so the folks that have not been getting the benefit of being within the confines of that area, meaning they should have had a lower insurance rating, will now be able to get that. So that's good work. It was caught, it's been corrected, and there's a lot of effort that went into that. I just want that to be recognized.
Problem is making and I've seen this, you have to just about call your insurance. You gotta be made aware and then call them yourself and punch them up. And I really am not so sure they're giving you the best rate they can.
Yes.
Because I know some of that from some personal people after we built the station,
Yes.
what they told me there, I mean, it only saved them like $500. And when we did the one that was in up around Florence, it went from 3,000 to like 1,500. And so I'm really questioning, are they really getting all the benefits they can out of it? I don't know how to check that.
Yeah.
Now, some are saying we got this and some this, and some saying, well, mine showed up $500 less. And I thought that, but when they told me what they were paying, I thought that doesn't sound right. So I don't know how to check that.
That there's, I like to say that the county has done, is doing and has done everything that the county can do. There may still have to be some communication, some work done by the individual homeowners, communicating with their insurers to make sure that the appropriate classification is being applied.
Right.
Keep in mind that different structures are going to be classified differently. The different values of property, Jared, could impact what the actual premium amount is. So there's many things that don't relate necessarily to the insurance classification that could affect the premium. So I don't know that everybody can say, I'm going to get $1,500 worth.
They weren't real.
We field a lot of phone calls on that at the office.
Yeah.
My neighbor got this and we're not getting that. And our typical response to that is that, obviously, we're not gonna get into it with an insurance company, but our typical response is it's advantageous for you as a homeowner to exercise your right to go out and shop your insurance.
That's what I told them.
And, more than likely, you're gonna find, some additional savings down the road.
That's
So,
what I told them.
do what you like, but it's your right to go shop it, so.
Right.
But we feel like this is gonna open up some pretty substantial savings to people
Oh, it's no
scattered
question.
across the county.
No question
So,
it is, and that's the whole purpose
And
of
I
what we're
definitely
doing.
want to say that, beyond a shadow of a doubt, obviously, Brett and Mr. Slay and Lance did the majority of the legwork on this, but Lance, I'm telling you, this guy produced, I'm gonna guess probably 75-page document on a 12 font of absolutely nothing but numbers. It is unreal, the amount of work, and he knocked this thing out in about 10 days. So yeoman's work on his behalf. Everybody just going in, and it's going to really help the citizens of Rankin County.
Appreciate all involved.
That's good stuff. So what you're doing is you're adopting a resolution that confirms this official map, confirms the legal descriptions for your grading districts for each of the volunteer fire departments. And so that's a document that can be then sent to the Rating Bureau. Now they have, they are able to accept that information because the board has authorized and confirmed it. So that's what you're doing here. Just need a motion to approve that.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion approved by Brad, second by
Gaines.
Steve. All in favor, say aye. All opposed.
For additional discussion, what Jared said about go to your agent is so much, they're not gonna call you. And it, I had insurance with the agent for a good long time, and we thought we were paying a little bit more than we should. Priced it with another big Farm Bureau, I'll tell you. $2,000 savings. When I went back, I said, man, we could have done that. Well, he didn't.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's what I've had.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
Keith,
county administrator.
All right. Good morning, gentlemen. Item A is authority to pay David Morrow Jr. for Family Master Services for the months of July 1 through December 31 of 21, and authority to issue check each month in the amount of $2,500 for those services. and this is a continuation of our current agreement.
Motion.
Second.
Motion approved by Steve, second by Jay. All in favor, say aye. All opposed?
Item B is the authority for the county to pay our share of the PERS for 2020 for Constable Barry Bean in an amount of $3,580.77, according to the annual financial report.
Motion approved.
Motion approved by Brad.
Second.
Second by Steve. All in favor, say aye. All opposed?
All right. Item C, this is our lease purchase financing agreement with Trustmark for the purchase of our our one new chip spreader. It's a 1.25 interest rate over the next 4 years.
Motion approved.
Motion approved by Brad.
Second.
Second by Steve. Jay, who was that? Somebody named Jay. Steve. All in favor, say aye. All opposed?
I guess I'd have surely got to vote for it because that's where it's gonna be, District 4.
3.
All right. Item D is the lease purchase financing agreement with Rankin County and Trustmark National Bank, and this is our 2 new dump trucks and the interest rate below 1% at 0.77 and authority to execute the documents on those.
Motion
Motion
approved.
approved by Brad.
Second.
Second by Jay. All in favor, say aye. All opposed?
And item E is our other constable and authority to refund Gary Wyndham for what he overpaid on his PERS for 2020 in the amount of $2,468.03, and to issue that check.
Motion.
Motion approved by Steve.
Second.
Second by Brad. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. All opposed?
I have no additional business.
I got just one question, Mike. Where are we, what'd you find out about your, drought?
Looking at
Uh,
this week.
Found the location, Jared, and both of them's here in Jackson.
Oh, really?
Actually, they've got 2 of them they're
Okay.
selling. One's a 11 model and one's like a 2001 model. So we're gonna
Same,
go
about
look
same money?
one's 30 and one's somewhere around the 50 mark, is what they told me. They trying to do some updates on both of them. Just depends on where the 11 model come in on repairs on it. But I am gonna go look at the machines this week and
good.
hopefully get that resolved
We got a place on Bird Road sitting there waiting.
on it. But I told them I'd look at them and see.
Slay knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's,
So-
yeah. Yeah, they've, yeah, those trees have become, what do you call them, speed trees. They didn't wanna let them grow out in the road like that because it slowed the traffic down.
One way to do it,
Everybody had to go around them.
we can't get radar, so you gotta come up and be creative
That's
somehow.
right, yeah. Everybody has to go around them, so that slowed, into the other lane, so that slowed everybody down.
I have one thing under additional business to just pretty much discuss. If we are there, that's where we're at.
Yeah.
We talked about and voted to fund $150,000 toward, developing firing range
Right.
out off of, Shallow Road. And, but we didn't really go any further. And every time we have a project without somebody overseeing it, it could be 4 months from now, we'd go, where we at? And we'd all look at each other, who, Mike? You know, somebody. So I've talked to all of those. Sheriff Harrison, Tim, and Mike Word. And Mike Word agrees to oversee it and work with the sheriff and Mike and whoever else needs to be worked with to make sure we get our money's worth and what they need. And we're only doing this in the stage. We voted on $150,000. What Mike is gonna do is put us a little plan together, dirt work, and if there's some money enough to put, I would like to get some turn targets, whatever you call them, get those in, and just some shooting lanes this year. Next year, if we feel like that we can go further, the board can vote on additional money, and an addition, maybe, you know, but I think everybody agrees, we need somebody that's,
Well, couldn't, I mean, Brian, you put some of that in your budget. when when it comes budget time.
Right, I got, Godfrey's supposed to be researching prices and nothing else, then we can go ahead and run the conduit for the electrical and everything. Go ahead and run the wires, it would depend on how expensive the turning targets are.
Yeah.
Go ahead and wire it all up initially.
Yeah.
and-
But I'm getting at though, when it comes budget time, you might have an idea of what you might need. We can kind
Well,
of budget it then, some.
I don't want to hurt, I mean, this is not, sure, the sheriff's department is gonna probably use it more than anybody else. But I think if Brandon or Pelahatchie or
Right.
Florence comes to the, or 4-H is gonna use it.
No, I
If they
agree.
come to Brian, I can't see him saying, nah, we paid for it. So I don't want to wreck his budget.
No, I'm saying he ain't added to his budget
Oh,
for us.
okay.
That's what I'm saying.
All right, let me just regress then. All
No,
right.
I'm just
I got
saying,
you.
no, you see, I'm not saying he could,
Yeah.
he'll know
I
we need to add another
If that's necessary.
50,000, 100,000, whatever.
Yeah.
That,
Well,
yeah, that's all
y'all, we
I'm
can
saying.
work that out, I guess.
And I think they're still doing the archery out there
Yes, sir.
inside, so we can.
Yes, sir.
That mean they can use it for it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the fastest growing thing in the 4-H. I want to call it a sport, but
That's right. On,
right.
and on that,
Word.
Mike, word, we don't want you to charge any engineering fees. Just-
Or dirt
we'll put
work.
that- We'll get that on record, So anyway, no, this all sounds good. Any more discussion?
I had it prepared. Cindy's already got an invoice in there.
Goes pretty thick too. All right, any other additional business? Not, executive need for executive session?
Hallelujah.
Thank the Lord.
wow.
Wow, that's
It's
what I
not even 10
say.
o'clock.
Goodness,
Make
all
a
right.
motion then. Reese.
Do I have a motion to recess till,
So moved.
okay, motion to recess July 15th.
Second.
Bishop, second
Third.
by, Brad, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Gosh, man.